And once again, it's on. Once again, it is on. Breaking news. As it was, well, it's not really breaking news. It's kind of what was expected. The 76ers were hesitant to giving a max contract to James Harden, even though he's earned the supermax. See, a lot of this is going to come up in bargain renegotiations. Because now it said, okay, well, you got to make the requirements to request for this type of money. Now, if they don't believe James Harden has earned a supermax contract, then we might as well throw the qualifications out of the rule. Who gets it then? Because if James Harden isn't a max contract player, then what the hell are we doing here? Does anyone in the free world believe this man isn't a max contract player? But see, this is what I talk about, the payola system that's going on in sports. There's some corruption going on, and it is devious. That's right, devious. What's the corruption? All of these teams and all of these accolades determine people getting these deals. Now, if they lose James Harden because they don't want to give him the supermax, the fans will have their hand. So what do? They get the press. They get Stephen A. Smith. They get all the rest of these cronies, Mike Wilburn, and the rest of the go along, get along gang, and they start pushing the narrative. I wouldn't pay James. If that was me, I wouldn't give him the money. The man earned his money. What you feel of what you might do don't matter to what he deserves. Now, he got to miss out of tens of millions of dollars because you don't feel like he should get it. That's kind of stupid to me. Well, I just feel. Anybody can have an opinion, but when your opinion affects people's payroll, and this is what Kwame Brown was talking about, and don't forget to follow at Kwame Brown Bus Life, this is what he was talking about. This moment right here. Negotiations was so bad with the 76ers, they were not willing to commit to James Harden. When they're active, current players in the league on these sports shows telling you that man earned his money. I'll play against James Harden. You think James Harden can't score 30 and 40 no more? Are you out your mind? James Harden can score 30 and 40 in his sleep. He's on a team now where that's not his requirement. And he played with a hamstring injury for the team when he could have just sat out. He played through the pain, didn't cry about it, and played injured. He didn't look that great, but he played and didn't sit out. So he basically was playing on one leg. Now, you was like, I wouldn't pay him all that money. Well, is it worth it to let James Harden walk? That's what you're going to have to come up with. But don't tell me the man didn't earn his money. Just say, you can go get your money elsewhere. But we just don't want to commit to you all that kind of money. That's different. But don't tell me James Harden didn't earn the damn Supermax. Don't tell me that. That's the only player in NBA history with 200 three-pointers made and 700 free throws in a season. He did that twice. 60-point triple-double. Only man in history to do that. 50-point triple-double. Only Russ had done that. Him and Russ had done it twice. He's the only player in NBA history to record 2,000 points, 900 assists, and 600 rebounds in a single season. Not LeBron James, not LeBron James, not LeBron James, James Harden. Why Bron can't do it? He ain't that kind of player. We know he ain't that kind of player. I know exactly what kind of player he is. A bum. Now, here it is. Zach LaVine is finna get more money than James Harden. On what planet does that make sense? So you gonna tell me Zach LaVine is Supermax? Zach LaVine is Supermax and James Harden gotta wait. What are we doing, people? What are we doing here in society? Am I in the Twilight Zone? Am I in the Twilight Zone? So Zach LaVine can make more money than LeBron James and James Harden, and that's okay. That's all right. But James Harden get the Supermax? Oh, we can't have that. Huh. James Harden. He ain't showing up in the playoffs. And Zach LaVine has? But nobody ain't complaining about Zach LaVine getting $200 million. But James Harden, he the problem. So, because of people complaining and the negotiations going bad, the 76ers are going to go in a different direction with James Harden. So instead of a 5-year max deal, James Harden is going to opt out of his contract for the 2022-23 season. Then he's going to do a max deal with the 76ers on a 5-year max. Now, here's the thing. He'll opt in for 22-23. The Sixers will then sign Harden to an extension that allows or add 2 to 3 more years on his option year. So what this really means is that if James Harden gets hurt or injured, he's effed in this. He's foobarred in this deal. You know, so the other team, well, the 76ers, they hold all the cards. They're not committed to paying this guy towards the back end of the contract all of this extra money. They're saying it's basically play as you pay. He's basically auditioning again for another contract, which is stupid, in my opinion. He's going to get a 5-year deal. He's going to get his money. Then if all goes well, they have the option on the back end. So this is a compromise that both parties want to do because The 76ers didn't want to be strapped up with cash. It's not James Harden's fault. Before he even got there, y'all signed Tobias Harris to all this ridiculous money. Trade that bum and then start over. Tobias Harris is one of those guys you let go. You don't need him. Now, everybody got expectations. There are a lot of expectations floating around. Mine is different. I look at situations different. I look and evaluate people different. And I can say to myself, this is what I want to see. This is what I don't want to see. You understand? And when I see James Harden acting the way he is, and doing everything that the team asked of him, and he's put up He-Man numbers that hadn't even been matched by anyone in NBA history, and he's earned his money, and he still got to dance for $1. You know, it's pathetic to me. And for all these NBA analysts who did this to this man, who put that man on display, who put that man in all of these different areas, like, because you don't like how he played in the playoffs. And what get me is that they know the man be hurt. They know the man hurt. And they would have the information from the source, the trainers and everything. When they make their reports, the scouts give them the information. So they know more than we do sometimes. But they'll sit on the information and tell the story that they want to tell. They will ignore the fact that he's injured. And then they'll be like, buddy, somebody will mention it. Like, but isn't he injured? Oh, yeah. But I know he's injured, but I mean, how many times? Woo! I'm telling you, gotta rinse your mouth out with that original Listerine. Got an enzyme in there that none of the other ones got. That one is good for cleaning. This is why I don't get COVID. Surrounded in a house full of it. Me and my sister tested negative. Over and over again. Now, as it pertains to me, I want to say thank you guys. From the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you guys, man. You guys sent a lot of warm wishes and said a very nice, some positive things. Praying for my family, everything. I appreciate it. My mother and dad are damn near cured right now. They just got to get their test to get that done. But other than that, shoot, they cured. They back raising hell. My mom's medicine is done, so she's through. So, yeah, everything is everything now. But I appreciate you guys. You guys hit up my Cash App. I appreciate that. Love. Yeah, Jonathan and everybody who super chatted, thank you. Now, That's why we still working hard for you. Now get this, right? Sean Marks was gonna give James Harden the Supermax. He was gonna give James Harden the Supermax. If they would have kept James out of the deal, he would have tried to keep James Harden had they won a championship. Once James Harden wanted out, and the way that he did, that soured the taste of Sean Marks. And when he traded him to the 76ers, it was the stigmata of he's not a loyal person, or James is only loyal to his general manager. Now, that's his, Daryl Morey's his guy. So whatever James wants, James gets. So everybody was shocked to see that they had so much turmoil here. Why wasn't this a slam dunk? Oh well, because there's other issues at stake that goes beyond here. This ain't gonna be the Houston Rockets cash boat with you and Daryl Morey. Oh no. See, the 76ers got a whole new operation. And when you look at all of the things that happened as far as what the team was ranking and everything else, so there's $47 million that he was supposed to have for this year. James Harden is going to be restructured, and now it's going to be some 5-year deal with options. But he still don't really get the Supermax, but it's a compromise from both sides, in case you guys hadn't really figured out what's going on. See, Tobias Harris' contract includes a trade bonus that's less than 5% of $5 million. So he got that in there. So there's a trade bonus in case he's included into a trade. So it's a lot of things that's in contracts a lot of people don't know. Um, Joel Embiid, he has what you call a salary cap protection. If you got a good agent, and let's say Anthony Davis, I don't know if Anthony Davis has a salary cap protection. So if he was to sustain an injury that caused him to miss a significant amount of playing time, Joel Embiid could do that. It wouldn't take it. They wouldn't take a hit on the cap because of that. They got the protection for that. Well, the 76ers wants to free up money to go get free agents. Now, you look at the situation where Melo is looking at going back to the Brooklyn Nets. Blake Griffin, well, we'll talk about that later. Now, I've been looking at all of the teams and where they are right now, and to me, it's a devastatingly crazy scenario altogether. I really don't see why they wouldn't just give James the Supermax to commit to James. But if they're going to restructure this in the way that they are, then I guess that's just the way it is. Because Tobias Harris is making $37 million and $39 next year. It's crazy. I mean, these are the next 2 upcoming years. That contract he got is insane. He's paid as a franchise player, and Tobias Harris is a role player. And this is how you overpay players who really should have been moved. That's the player that should be moved, and you're treating James Harden like he Tobias Harris. Next season, Joel makes $33 million, and that's like the scraping the bottom. After next year, he's making 43, 47, and $50 million. Joel Embiid. So why would he go anywhere? So I don't see him going to the Miami Heat. I see him staying right there in Philly. Because if they can trade and get those contracts off the books, the whole process is done once he's gone. Now, they got a team that can get to the playoffs, but Maxey is playing on a ridiculous contract, and he's going to want to renegotiate. Maxey gets paid next year damn near $3 million. Tyrese Maxey is the best for the buck. Tyrese Maxey, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you yet again, is getting $2.7 million next year. And the next year, 4. And the next year, 6. Who represents Tyrese Maxey? Oh, Rich Paul. Thanks, Rich Paul. By locking this man in a long-term low deal, his value right now is about at least a player that can get and earn about 10 to 15 million a year. So now his worth is 4 to 5 times what's on the table. And about time 24, 25 come, and it's time for him to re-up for that big money, who knows where he'll be. I pray to God he don't get injured or anything, but he's really been the second option. Danny Green is getting $10 million. But here's the kicker. If they let Danny Green go, he don't get paid next year. He's a free agent. He's out, basically out the league. He's not belonging to a team if he's cut before July the 1st, I believe. Yeah, it's crazy, ain't it? This is an owner situation. The owner made these decisions. He didn't just run in there and say, okay, this is what we want to do. Daryl Morley could have pulled this trigger and said, this is what we doing. Boom. There it is. I remember they had Chris Heck was in there for a while. That they got Daryl Morley to come in there to run things, and I knew right away Chris Heck was not finna let Daryl Morley make that decision. Do you understand me? He says, you know what? I'm finna leave the team. I'm leaving the 76ers in this whole organization. But he was very adamant with the owners and everybody else. And he came in there in 2013, and he was the chief in sales and marketing and everything else. And once he left, negotiations is out. It's like, okay, well, Daryl Morley just going to give him the money. No, it's not going to happen. everybody knows who runs the 76ers, right? But they not just finna give all that money to James. This is business. And like I said, if you don't wanna well, it's a group, it's an entertainment group. I told you, Harris, Blitzer, Sports and Entertainment. You know, that's why Meek Mill is friends with them, and the owner of the team, he be having Meek bounce around like a bunny hop and doing all that silly shit, you know, but it is what it is. They own they own a lot of teams. But the main scenario is, don't tell me James Harden don't deserve the Supermax. Just say we don't want to pay it. Hey, that's your choice. I can't argue with that. But don't go on there and try to make a show every day and try to get these people to talk down on his contract. You know, this is the type of poison Stephen A. Smith does. You know, and Mike Wilborn and all those shows with these doggone people that follow agendas and do what the company wants them to do and tear down these men's contracts by pushing it over to the public. So it makes sense. So now, if you don't want to pay them, that's fine. But don't tell me James Harden didn't earn the Supermax, because then you're lying. And that's all I got to say about that. There's 4 other videos here you can watch that's worth it. Believe me, I know. I made them. And everybody else, we'll chat later. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. I'm out.